Welcome back to the OPL, of course, brought to you by Hungry Jacks, where we ask the hard-hitting questions, such as, will Sin Gaming pick up a victory here? And do you like pineapple on pizza?
I would love to see Sin take a game, but I don't know. Something's going to have to drastically change in the 15-minute break that we took between game 1 and 2. As for pineapple and pizza, look, I'm not a huge fan personally of it, but ultimately I don't care what you put on your pizza, man. I mean, I don't have to eat it. You eat it, so you can put whatever you want on there. You can put poo on there. I don't care. I don't have to eat it. What do I care? People care too much about whether pineapple goes on pizza or not.
I don't eat pizza at all.
Just don't eat it.
Pizza sucks.
You reckon?
Yeah.
I'm a bit over pizza too, but I don't think it sucks.
It's like a crap sandwich.
I mean, it would be if you put
your ingredients on it. But do you know what I do like on Italian cuisine?
Tell
lasagna.
me.
I am a big fan of lasagna, and I make a mean lasagna.
Lasagna reminds me of pizza. It's, okay, hang on, okay? So, it's dough, right? Pasta is like dough, right? So that's what bread's made out of, sort of.
Yep.
Yeah. And then it's like meat with like tomato sauce, paste, whatever, and cheese. What's a pizza? Dough, tomato paste, cheese. They're the same thing, and you can't tell me otherwise.
Is this some Zoolander level of logic coming in right now?
Just saying, man.
It's just a pizza on top of pizza. It's like
pineapple
mini
on your
pizzas.
lasagna. Why not?
Why the heck not? I also enjoy a good parma, which is arguably pizza as well. You just substitute out the dough
for crumbs.
For crumbs.
Might as well be. Why not?
Everything is pizza when you put your mind to it. Let's get into the Champions League. Galio, Zaya, Braum, banned away by Sin Gaming. It's going to be Tristana, GP, Skarner banned away for Avant. Didn't like having to build 5 QSSs, and it's going to immediately be Bedoink taking Rise.
Yeah, Rise is a very strong champ at the moment, and I think Bedoink is pretty capable on the Rise. I think he's played it a number of times. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I'm pretty sure he's played it a lot this season, so not a surprise there. Varus picked up by AV. I think they must have liked what they saw.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if you're going to play Coldmore, why not just play good Coldmore at the moment, which is pretty much Varus?
Varus has been played in every game so far today.
It has. Has it lost yet? Game 1 of Legacy versus
yeah. It has lost, but...
And then I can't remember whether it won or lost the next 2 games. Got temporary amnesia because I'm trying to keep my sanity.
I know that feeling, don't worry.
And then it lost the last game. So 100% loss rate right now for Varus, at least in my mind.
Wukong hover.
Wukong, yeah.
Wouldn't be OPL without a Wukong hover.
See, I like the players that hover their favourite champion. Like, Rosie always sits on Teemo because he's a big Teemo player. I like Stix in North American LCS always hovers Warwick because that was like his first champion that he climbed the challenger with. So I like hovers like that.
Yeah.
Like when you hover Nunu.
If I lock it in, though.
And then you threaten to flash snowball people. What about Predator Nunu? Red Smite, Predator Nunu.
I played against it, actually, in solo queue, and it popped off.
Really?
It did. He
that
built
makes
full
me
AP,
so happy.
And he just killed Minky over and over and over again.
Oh, have you been duoing with Minky Whale again?
Yeah, I may have. Maybe a little bit.
I was checking out your accounts when you were called Don't Reach Youngblood, which made me laugh
our
a lot.
own teams.
Yeah, Sion as well as Ezreal. This is the first time in the pick ban phase Sion has been prioritized in this week of the OPL. It was like kind of top tier last week and has fallen off a little bit.
I mean, he has been banned a few times. He got banned today. I think both sides may have banned him.
Yeah, in second round rotation.
Yeah, it's second rotation. Sion's a very strong pick. He has a bit of wave clear. He's got engage. He's very tanky.
He's a linear champion. Like, linear champions are good because you know what your job is to play.
Yeah.
Sometimes when your champion does everything, I always get confused. So I'm like, Sion, I kick stuff at people and I clear the waves.
Yep. Ult, Q.
Yeah,
when I die, I keep autoing.
Azir as well as Sejuani picked up.
Yep. Looks like AV going a similar path. Just going to pick team fighting, tanks, Azir in the mid lane.
Hey, why the heck not?
I mean, it's definitely definitely the strongest stuff in the meta right now. So no surprises yet.
Parbu gets Trundle banned away, a champion that we've talked about a couple of times today. Obviously, with Sion being a primary tank, don't want to have those, passive resistances stolen away.
Yeah.
Potentially allows Juves as well to play something that is a little bit more damage heavy in the jungle if you would like Kha'Zix as well as Olaf taken away. So obviously Avant sniffs something out there as well.
Pinching the jungle a little bit. Wonder whether or not we'll see the Kindred out of Juves.
Do you know who I want to come back? Gragas.
Who do you want to come back?
What does Gragas need to do to come back?
Ooh.
Because he clears okay. He's an okay team fighter. He's not the best in all these roles.
Yeah, it's a good question. He's just the same, but a little bit worse than Sedge and Zach and, you know, junglers of that ilk.
Yep.
I think he just needs his numbers up a little bit more. I mean, his kit is the exact same it's always been.
Yep.
So I think it's just a numbers game for him, really.
And that's kind of what it always is with junglers, is if you can get a good first clear, then a lot of these tank junglers are fine. But if you jungle just a little bit too slow and someone picks a carry into you, you just get put in a hole every single game.
Absolutely. And the thing is Gragas actually doesn't scale that well compared to these other champions because he doesn't really have percentage damage. I mean, his W is really the only tool, but then, like, you're only going to get one off per team fight, really. His ult is so telegraphed nowadays. It's like sort of what happened with Gnar over the years. People just got really good against playing against Gragas, so they're prepared to QSS flash your E-ult engage.
Oh, this is really interesting. So they're actually going to pick up Shen and put it in the top lane, and they take Alistar down bottom for Jake.
Okay.
So this team fight has a good 1-4. Shen going to be able to join the fight onto the alley, especially to be able to set up those engages. Whilst I feel like we have a pretty disengage heavy comp coming out of at least the carries of Sin Gaming. Ezreal Rise.
Yeah. I wonder whether Vicarious read this happening, or whether this is just something that AV have been practicing this week and decided to just do it regardless of the enemy draft, because Taric Ezreal going to be very difficult for this Alistar to punish. The only real opportunity is, you know, as soon as Shen hits 6 and bot lane's still at that level 4, level 5 mark. But even then, they're still difficult champions to kill, and if Juice is there, that could be a very painful dive. So
absolutely, and I think that it's very hard to lock down any of the members of Sin right now. You got Ryze ulti out, you got the slipperiness of Ezreal, Taric ulti, the fact that Zach can just ulti himself out, becomes immovable. Sion just runs real quick. This is going to be
doesn't need TP to get to bot.
Certainly does not. Going to be a trucky. I was looking at Blinky and I started speaking like a Kiwi. It's going to be a tricky team to lock down. However, Avant at the same time, still very good scaling going to come out. Very good 5v5 team fight and a split pusher to boot in the Shen.
Yep. So, yeah, very sort of linear team comp. Obvious what they want to do. Pulverize that bottom lane, get the Shen ult in there. They've got Sejuani, they've got Varus ult to open it with. Extremely strong dive, good cross-map plays, but yeah, the Sin comp is almost perfectly suited to deal with it. They've got the Zac long-range jump to counter the dive. They've got Ezreal, who's probably the safest AD carry. They've got Taric ult. Ryze has an unsealed spellbook, might have TP or could just ult in. Sion, like I said, doesn't need to TP. He can just base and then ult down the bottom lane. So I have to say that while AV got a strong dive, Sin's disengage is better, really.
So it all will come down to execution as we are onto Summoner's Rift for game number 2. Klepto proc goes across. He gets a sack of gold. And let's throw it over to Laura and Vicarious.
Thank you very much, guys. I'm here with Vicarious. Now, the team unfortunately went down in game number 1, but they looked like they were in high spirits when we saw them in Champions Select just then. Did you or Jupes give the team a rallying speech in the break?
Well, what I did was just trying to stabilize their mental, and obviously Juice is there to just cheer them up. That's what Juice do.
In this game, AV Flex picked Shen into the top lane. Were you expecting this, and how do you think Shen goes into Sion?
I don't think Shen does exceptionally well into Sion. To be fair, I don't think most tanks don't do well into Sion, just because he's got his natural armor pen and he makes his trading pretty obnoxious from time to time. And yeah, so the Shen flex that doesn't really bother us that much. And
now that Sin are unfortunately out of the gauntlet, what's the team working towards, and what are their goals for the rest of the split?
So, yeah, we're out of the gauntlet, but we're still really focused on improving ourselves. So especially Dream and Badoink, this is their first split of OPL, so they're very keen to just keep improving and show everyone what they can do.
I'm keen to see how they improve. Best of luck with the series, and thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.
All right, so a little bit of a cheesy top lane pick, I'm going to call it. I think it makes sense, however, is Klepto Relic Shield onto the Shen. Every time he pulls that sword through Praetor, it's going to be able to get a Klepto proc. Yep. And going to be able to bandit some gold as well.
Yep.
Taunt.
Also works with the taunt misses. Here. Praetor's walking back for the creep to hit level 2.
So auto attack will come across there. That's exactly what we're talking about.
Could have fully charged that Q. Pabu had no taunt, so... But nevertheless, good trade out of Praedyth. Yeah, I suppose Sion unlikely to push him out super hard, so Pabu thinks he can just make bank.
And I kind of disagree with Vicarious a little bit, as hold that thought, we're going to get the junglers potentially crashing in the top lane. Only is up here. Juves will spot him on a ward right now. However, if he just goes quickly, not going to be able to stop it. Dashes in, misses. However, the flail will not land on the second. Taunt does hit, however, and you can see right now they're trying to go for it. Very nice disengage coming out of Praedyth with that flash. However, Juice flashes forward, and they're looking to continue this fight. Ryze is heading up from the mid lane.
You
can
see might be able to cut him off
very nice kick of the minion there, and they're going to be able to get the knock up as well. However, Ryze does not continue. They could potentially look for the turret dive here onto Shen if he sticks around. They've got Zach Bloblets if he wants to go first. However, Bedoink doesn't want to commit.
Yeah, I think he was looking for the Sejuani and hoping that he would just be able to walk in and get a free double buff. He would have if he just kept checking straight away, but instead he pauses, opts not to check, and Juve's about to get caught in these golems.
Certainly is. Sejuani came back, going to be stunned up. You can see teleport coming into the top lane as well. Praedyth kicks a Krug at Pabu. That didn't look like it slowed him for whatever reason. However, 2v2 right now is going in favor of Sin. Early rotation coming out of Frey, however, so Pabu and Only feel like they can chase. However, now Frey going to have to slide over a wall. Will be able to do so when everyone successfully disengages.
Yep. Frey did burn a lot of mana, though. Getting, I assume Bedouink's been chasing him around a bit, and Bedouink's also had the opportunity to base and TP back with the Unsealed Spellbook, so he's going to have priority here for a while. Has that tier. Juves continues to invade the top side, Only doing his only thing and just farming.
Yeah, Juve's actually going to look to potentially catch him out on Raptors. No, goes back towards top lane. That is very strange coming out of Juves.
Yeah,
he knows that's
warded.
Dive, he is looking for the dive. We'll go over. Pabu will get cut off. See whether he can slap him back. Lands it. Will be able to knock him back. However, that creep misses out of Praetor. So we'll get zoned away from a lot of experience. But Pabu wanted to shop anyway.
Yep, but Praetor's going to be able to proxy this wave or farm it wherever he wants, really. But that's a huge wave that Pabu's going to miss some creeps on. Praetor's also probably going to get a free recall, although he's recalled once already. But probably going to get a free recall off the back of this. So Juve's just providing some pressure for the Scion.
Nice stun lands in the bottom lane. No Klepto proc coming across for Dream, as he would have liked. However, he's got himself a red potion as well as a green ward.
Yep. So
and just picks himself up a bag of gold as well, if you don't mind.
Yep. So Dream definitely looking like he's more interested in the gold than in winning this lane. Not popping the red pot or the biscuit for mana. He just wants to keep those items to be able to sell them later, which is fair enough. You know, not much action going on in this bottom lane, and the quicker you can scale on Ezreal, the better.
Might want to pop it now. No, still doesn't go for it. That was a good stun landing. You can see he's threatening the E buffer. But not going to be cut off by Only. However, is also going to have Juves in his back pocket here. So very nicely played by Bedoink, I feel. Will slap Only back there, Juves. And they've got complete control over this creep wave and therefore the mid lane.
Yep. Unsealed Spellbook coming in huge for Sin at the moment. Ryze just constantly having pressure, and despite running all over the map. So good signs for them. Frey still hasn't based, needs to really badly, but he's got to miss a wave for it.
Shuriken gets engaged on bottom lane, will take a lot of damage. Guardian proc comes across and helps him a little bit. However, another biscuit going to be picked up for Dream. And every time these trades go a little bit in favor of Avant, Dream still just collect and bank off the Klepto. So doing fairly well for himself.
Okay, AV looking like they want to go home. Jake using his Pulverize on the wave. Yeah, Sin trying to find an area to trade, knowing that Jake doesn't have his strongest ability, but unfortunately Varus just too strong.
Yeah, you can see they're just holding this wave off the turret every single time, and they're not really able to get the hard reset they're looking for right now, Avant, so they're going to stick around for another creep wave.
Yep.
They're also calling Sejuani down here to potentially pressure the back. Ezreal wants to back either just on tier, when Blinky has a really shoddy buy of like double dagger, or wants to back on tier Sheen. When you get caught in no man's land, tier pickaxe, tier cull, your shop kind of sucks.
Speaking of no man's land.
Yeah, Only's over here. He's level 4 to level 5. Going to get slapped back towards it. Can Juves hit the blast plant? Doesn't go for it. However, does get level 6 and potentially can go over the wall. No, does not.
Whoa. 2-level lead on Juves. When did that happen?
Yeah. I mean, all that top lane action,
I
guess. Took a lot of creep farm, creep experience, I would assume.
Yep. Okay, so Juves 2 levels ahead of Only, which is Very unusual, only very rarely behind. Frey's going to come ward him.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's mid lane because when you get ahead level 6 to when your bottom lane doesn't have it, you generally go bot straight away and look for a gank.
Yeah, yep, you could do that, but Juice, because he's alpha, IQ, whatever, knows that Shen has ult up and that his top laner doesn't have TP. So probably the right move from him. He's moving into the top side jungle, which is very smart again, knowing that Azir's going to get that blue, so he might be able to pick himself up a few camps here and extend that lead.
Grabbed himself a second red potion.
Here's Pabu.
Yeah, Pabu potentially going to have to go back to that
flash
top
here.
lane. Actually, he's going to have to flash, as you mentioned, gets knocked up. Jugs goes over. Very nice chain CC, predicts it. This just might be first blood. They're going to continue to chase in. One more auto from Jugs, slaps him with the big jelly arms of Zac and picks up first blood.
Yep, and I can't help but think that that was only saying, hey, I think he might be on my red. Can you please check? And Pabu gets punished for only being behind. Only really doesn't want to fall further behind. He lost the fight at the at Juves' red buff as well, and Pabu's just lost his life trying to maintain Only's jungle.
And this is the thing about Sion, is he just plays the creep wave the whole lane. So if you ever leave the lane, he just kicks it into your turret, and you feel like you're pressured to get back there very quickly. And both times that Pabu's been forced out of lane, once through a death, once... Oh, actually, Juve's going to look for Frey as well. Will not pull the trigger on it, instead stays in Fog of War. I was going to say, it's actually cost Pabu like 16 creeps now. That's nearly 3 creep waves of both experience, but also gold.
Yep.
Nice ultimate coming across from Blinky. Good double stun out of Kuden, however, gets that angle right. Very big fan of trigonometry, obviously. Will be able to secure some farm for his AD carry here.
Yep, no mana on the Taric means can't Taric ult and force the 2v2. Because I think they might have won that if they had mana. But nice out of the AV bot lane to force them out. Managed to pick up some fruit in the river, so they're going to come back extremely strong.
Ooh, contentious argument. What do you call the fruit? Do you just call it fruit?
I just call it fruit.
Okay.
What do you call it?
So Bryce calls it melons. But I've also heard Dream call it lemons.
Well, to be fair, I've heard both. But
Yeah.
also, like, I've heard Bryce say melons.
Yeah.
And I don't know who I heard say lemons. I mean...
I think Dream is actually the one that says lemons.
Yeah, right,
Because I've been watching Dream stream lately a little bit.
Says a lot.
Yeah. Nice, relaxing player.
Yeah, I don't know. We all just call it fruit.
Yeah.
All the team I used to play with.
No, fruit makes sense to me. I like it. I think it's called honey fruit is the
Yeah,
official
I think
name.
that's the technical name.
So then, you know, just abbreviated, shortened it.
Yep.
All about efficiency in the
Agree.
Legacy house.
Agree.
As finally, potentially a reset going to come out of here by Sin Gaming. Dream had to burn one of his biscuits that he's stolen. And you can see right now that Sin Avant are trying to return the favor. Ooh, they're just
they're just outside, but I feel like they know anyway.
Yeah, process of elimination.
Okay, but they just opted to push the lane instead of keeping them there.
And he gets the optimal shot, goes back, gets himself tier boots too, as well as a Sheen.
Not selling the red pots, though, which is...
Or the biscuits.
Interesting to me.
Potentially didn't need it for that shop.
Yeah.
And he thought, you know, they're okay laning items.
Yeah, fair enough.
I feel like he should have sold one of them for a control ward, but Kuden does the right thing and picks up a couple.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. Maybe he's just hoping to spawn one from a Klepto. Can you get control wards? I don't think you can.
I don't know. You can get green wards and you can get fast tier trinkets.
I don't think you can get.
You can get blues, which is real strange.
Yeah, and if you have the 6 items, it just sort of plonks it somewhere for you.
Yeah.
You don't get to choose.
Old school clairvoyance without actually being able to see it. You see Jade contesting vision right now, but Doink and Frey are going to meet each other.
Here.
Zac is here, as you aforementioned. However, they do not want to fight just because of Pabu's ultimate. He ducked into Fog of War. So, one trade still for Sin Gaming, as Frey got chunked out. Only going to use this time, however, to take control of bottom side river.
Yep. Wit's End completed on Blinky as well, which means despite Dream having a good base, he's going to do a lot of damage.
Yeah, he actually is going to pick up the kill here. Dream potentially going to get soloed out. Ultimate going to be pegged at him. That's just high wide. Not very handsome coming out of Only. Dive is on, however, flash headbutt pole. No Taric ultimate will come down in time. However, the heal just might be enough. And Dream somehow lives. Praedyth is now here. Potentially going to look for the ultimate. Whiffs it into the wall. Jake going to use his ulti in response. Will get knocked up. No flash available means that he's probably just going to fall down. And do they give it over to Dream? Yes, they do. Second blood goes over to Sin.
I got to say, Kuden trigonometry, very good at maths also. Apparently knew that the Taric ult wasn't needed. To be fair, probably wouldn't have come down in time anyway if the Ignite was going to kill him.
But now they can actually... Ooh, if that Q hit, that would have been on for the dive instead. Looks like they want themselves an Infernal Drake.
Yep. Good pickup. Pabu's just wailing on that top tower, but I mean, he does have a Tiamat, so it does have a bit of damage.
Yep.
But yeah, Infernal Drake and some chip on the bot tower means Sin are going to take an early lead in this game.
Yeah, and I wonder whether Dream and Kuden swap back towards that. No, he's actually just going to walk this one out. Praetor realizes that he doesn't really need to shop. Dream lands the Q. Oof. Wowee. That is
Sniper.
getting very dicey down there in the bottom lane for Blinky.
I mean, he has flash still. I mean, he did force Dream's flash and heal earlier.
Yep.
Which was nice play out of him, to be honest, to go for the solo kill there. But
if only Blinky had played it slightly better. Not Blinky, Jake played it slightly better. They would have got a kill there for nothing.
Yeah, I mean, it's one extra auto attack. And when you break it down like that, it's like, come on, man. Surely you could have fit in one more auto in that passage of play. But, you know, it's very easy to just think like, nah, of course he dies. Of course he dies there.
He was on single-digit health. So we see the gold right now. Top lane completely even. 500 for the jungle, 500 for the 80 carries, and that's what will make up about the 1,000 gold lead. Infernal Drake picked up, however, is a big deal for Rise, especially on this patch.
Yep. I'm a big fan of how they've played this early game. I feel like they've used priority really well. I feel like Bedoink's had a great game on this Rise. I think Juves did extremely well to develop the XP lead that he did on Only, and I think Praetor is playing this lane reasonably well. I mean, he is playing versus Klepto Bandit Shen, but you know, despite that, he's making his impact known. He's 100% kill participation over 2 kills. So
yeah, absolutely. And I think the ability to influence side lanes against a Shen is something that, you know, you always look to be able to match that pressure. So not having to teleport to lane meant that he could use at bottom. Everything kind of going right now, and that top lane turret is very low on health.
Yet to see a Shen ult aggressively. When we said that very flow charty, this team comp, get bot side control. Go bot.
I feel like
Shen
Jake can just go right now.
He can. I think he's looking for it.
Yeah. Oh, that ulti misses, and Kuden misses his ulti as well. I didn't think you could miss a Taric ultimate, but apparently you can.
Learn something new every day. So yeah, that's Varus ult down. With no Taric ult, this does open up a window for them, though. They still have the Sejuani ult. They still have Alistar ult.
Oh, that's a nice ulti onto Bedoink. That's going to be the Shen ultimate now coming across. Frey was looking for him, however, got slowed by the long arms. And a cancel in the top lane as well out of Praedyth with that ground smash. Means that now going to tango. You can see Praedyth not really taking all that much damage. And Parbu off the back end of that will take some. One trade there, and Juve's just going to look to take himself a red buff. However, Only is heading over.
Juve's got vision, though, so he'll know this is happening. Rise is just so fast, man. He's just so quick. He just gets the overload passive off, and he just runs out. He had flash that entire time, didn't even bother. Knew he could just walk away.
He's also a relatively tanky dude at this stage of the game. I mean, Rise's first couple of items, you know, Roa, Tear into Seraphs, and probably Merc Treads, means that against magic damage top side of the map, it's going to be difficult to kill him.
It's magic damage all around. I mean, we see that a lot.
Oh, that's an awesome ultimate. Flash forward as well out of Bedoink. They want this one. Frey will burn the ultimate, will burn the heal, will slide out, and they actually get the completed stun. That might actually be Bedoink falling down. Juice flashes forward onto Frey. Will be able to take the kill in response, however, now Only looking to come in. Sion yells really loud, drifts along the wall, and will get the big knock-up. I don't think anything else is going to happen, but that is very cool. Actually, the fight continues. Juice goes back in, and they get another kill. Kuden is here, flashes forward onto Blinky. He is playing the series of his life right now. And they get the 2 kills and get out scot-free.
Yep. Wasn't watching the bot lane at all, so I've got no idea why they got there so early. But, look, great engage out of Juves. He hits the E straight into the ult. If you immediately channel ult after hitting them with a max charge knock-up, the CC, the knock-up lasts long enough for you to be able to kidnap them. So Bedoink made a huge mistake by flashing forwards to root the Azir. There was no reason for him to do that. The CC isn't layered, so as soon as the kidnap ends and the root wears off, Frey is able to just just heal and just walk straight out. He didn't even have flash. So bit of a mis-execute there by Bedoink, but the rest of the team fight played incredibly well, especially by Juves and by Praedyth. That was a Tokyo Drift.
It certainly was. I think Kuden also, player that we haven't mentioned, Muff, you played with Kuden as actually Parbu looking for big damage here on the top lane.
Yeah.
It's a strange thing to point out from a Shen.
Well, Shen does a lot of damage, especially when they go that Titanic build.
Yep.
Those autos, they stack up. But no, I don't know. The thing about Kuden, I mean, he flashes forward with the stun, but all he got out of Varus was the heal, so probably not worth it, to be honest.
Yeah, but someone that has been in and out of the OPL a little bit. Obviously played for Direwolves, then Legacy, I believe. Now playing for Sin Gaming after a split off. What is your take on his split been? Because he's also another person who would like to become a mainstay of a roster.
Yeah, for sure. He's a... how to say... I think that the biggest thing that I noticed from playing with Kuden, Mike, was he is an extremely quiet guy.
Yep.
And that's not generally a good trait for a support player. A support player, he needs to be roaming, he's offering information, he's getting vision.
They generally lead the lane as well now.
Yeah, a lot of roaming.
Oh, actually, hold that thought. As Kuden's going to be caught out. However, Tarek ult, as you mentioned, and that will be the completed teleport for Praetor now in this choke. Who will win the fight? Blinky just whiffs the ultimate, has to flash the wall immediately. You can see right now, Frey is getting destroyed by Bedoing. Will get slowed down. Will ulti actually Juves into his team? And Juve says, thank you for that, my friend. That is going to be a Rise as well as an Ezreal on the back end of the team fight. Now looking for Jake. Headbutt, pulverize, does not mean anything. Bedoing grabs the kill.
Yeah, we've seen this a few times today. If you engage on the Tarek and you don't kill him before that ult comes down,
PTSD,
you are almost certainly going to lose the team fight. And Kuden coming up huge there.
Yeah, certainly was able to turn that one. Miss execution out of Blinky as well after he missed that ultimate. Just had to bail on the fight because he was 1v2. This is going to be first turret pick up in the mid lane. Probably the most important lane to break, especially against an Azir comp.
Yep.
Parbu looking for Dream. Sneaky.
Around.
Will ulti the wave. Does Parbu stick around? No, too many people in bottom river. Parbu will just get the heck out of dodge.
Pick up the blue buff. Probably look at a dragon here as well. And Sin taking complete control of this game with a couple key team fights.
They're such a strange team, Sin Gaming. I actually feel like Juves is a coin flip player. He commits so heavily to early game investment, in my eyes, even when he plays things like tank junglers. Like, if that play topside doesn't work out and somehow, like, Only's able to farm up a little bit, then he looks like a, lunatic.
Like a noob.
But now he looks like a genius.
Yeah, I think he is a guy who plays very well with good teammates.
Okay.
And what I mean when I say that is he plays well around when he has priority.
Yeah.
So when his teammates are winning lane, he's good at using their lead to get his own lead.
Yep.
And then he's also quite good at team fights. He's quite a good team fighting jungler.
As we see that Glacial Augment coming out strong, and that's going to be a teleport now used by Bedoing. Praetor is so tanky. Juves goes in, immediately gets Blinky, and Blinky's just underneath the turret with absolutely nowhere to go. Nicely played again from Sin.
And again, Sin are just playing reactively. AV continue to engage on tanks. And that's a recipe for disaster. They get punished once more.
Yeah, I saw another team do that today, and it didn't work out any better for them. So I don't think it's a skill thing. I just think it's an ideology thing. It's
Perhaps.
A very nice Eagle ultimate. Misses all but one creep on that wave. I feel like that was a mini-map ult.
Yep. But yeah, just to continue on Juice, he's quite good in team fights, and he's very good at playing with priority. And so he's good with good players. We saw him last year with FBI and Rogue and Ryoma. So he had two very strong winning lanes.
Even
also
when
with
he had
flares.
Doppler and flares.
Yep. So when they have priority, he plays quite well. The problem is even when and this was one of Sin's key issues last year, was when those good players didn't have priority, he sort of fell apart. And this year he struggled because his teammates aren't just winning lane naturally as much as they were the year before. And I think that's definitely one area of his gameplay that he could improve on. But, you know, in a scenario like this where Sion is pushing, Rise is winning lane, he's quite good at punishing the enemy jungler.
Yeah, and he's just shown that he's able to be on the right side of the map, those instincts that are so important for jungles, or that vision that you're able to get down, just allowing him to be at the right place at the right time and punishing overzealous play out of Avant Gaming. Right now, 5,000 gold lead, couple of dragons up their sleeve, 21 minutes in, 2 tanks, plus a Rise. You have to say that smells barren quite soon as well, if they're able to set up the correct vision.
And they're so tanky as well. Like, they've got the mountain, but not only do they have all that damage, like, they've got Tarek heals, they've got the Zac, they've got a Sion who's got so much health, and the 3 pots. So, I mean, they can start and stop Baron as many times as they like. And Warmog's now completed.
Yeah, they've got a Warmog. I was going to say they're also going to have a Death Cap quite soon onto Bedoink, who's very accelerated at this stage of the game. He's at 2.5 items, whilst Frey is searching for a cheaper second item.
Yeah, he's looking for that Rylai's potentially, or maybe the Void Staff, not sure.
Maybe even something like a Leandries, just to try and get, like, if the fight goes for longer, my damage ramp will be good, kind of thing, because you know that it's going to be stalled out due to Kuden's ultimate.
But I think another big thing is the bot lane, the AD carries. We've got 2 item spike plus the QSS on this Ezreal. He's going to be doing a lot of damage, and he's going to be very difficult to kill. He's going to be very difficult to kill as well. And yeah, the Muramana, whereas Blinky's still looking for that Rage Blade. Not sure how much gold he has, but I suspect he's, okay, 1k, so he's still a bit off. Maybe like 500-600 gold left until he can afford it.
Yeah, and you don't want to ever really go back when you're just on blasting 1 gold as Blinky. It doesn't really do all that much for you as an AD carry, to be perfectly frank. As we see Dream getting mid lane priority, and they've done a good job of, securing side lane brush, securing Baron vision as well.
Start it.
And they're going to start this one up. If Jake doesn't drop a control ward in, we'll not be able to spot it. Drops a normal ward, so it gets that brief vision. However, now they look to control ward, and it's already at 3,000 health. Only can come in. However, Juves is higher level, so technically has the stronger smite. Instead, they're just going to back away from it and let it reset.
Okay, so probably going to go back in and clear these pings and maybe just start it again. I mean, they don't need to answer what. Okay, they're just going to...
I think they were just waiting for Praedyth to come over. Now Praedyth potentially can go behind the pit, can play a little bit of Disruptor, or they can just get Juves over there and look to bring only in, to be honest.
No pinks left,
so... Yeah, they will get vision off the Sand Soldier briefly. 2,000 gold health
now.
Over the wall goes Juves, gets shoved back in and says, thank you for that, probably didn't want to be there anyway. And it's just sitting at 2,000 health. Now they take it below. Juves get ultied up. They do burn the Taric ultimate. Root is there, and actually Azir stole it somehow.
And Pabu is just sitting in the bottom lane. He's got a fat wave, and he's going to do work on this bot tower if he decides to push.
And cover the nameplates. You would think it was Legacy. All kinds of indecision coming out right now of Sid. And Avant able to just pinch one.
I mean, yeah. Just a weird way to approach it, I suppose. Like, they have flashes, they have the Rise ult. If they really wanted to engage, they had opportunities. Like, Azir used his ult on the Zac E, you can still get over there. You can still just flash in, or, I don't know, they sort of just Taric ult and then continue to hit Baron. And Azir was the one who stole it. Outsmites Levi, but not Frey, apparently.
Yeah, apparently not. And this was, I think, a little bit...
Here. 9-4, oh, 21 health. That hurts.
Yeah, all right.
That's painful. Well, come on, boys.
Bummer.
Why can't you do one more auto attack, guys?
I was
Surely you could have hit it one more time.
Why did you cancel the auto attack? Come on, man.
Oh, 21 health. That's not a...
With the turret that fell down in the bottom lane as well as all that gold they got from Baron, they are back within touching distance.
Only 2k on a game that was all but over. And Frey, he's now got that second item.
Juves is being caught out in the jungle as well. Only is a higher level than him. You see Juves wants to continue this fight, goes over the wall. Juves looking for it, will not get the kidnap because a nice flash from Only will get him to safety. Meanwhile, however, mid lane turret being pushed, top lane turret being pushed.
Yep, standing gold gone. This one likely to fall to the cannon here. A few more autos. Oh no, Varus walks away, so no Baron buff. It's just a poor, measly, regular cannon.
Yeah, you see, Only, again, is very deep into the jungle. Will look to get out. No, actually, decides that he wants to tango a little bit. Now they bring over even more members.
Well, Ryze does have TP, but he's in the bottom lane, and TP takes about 4.5 seconds. Ryze Shen ult doesn't take that long, so they will have the extra member earlier.
And actually, that's an ult onto Juve straight away. He's been caught out. He's just been CC'd, and they're going to have to burn the TP if they want to save him right now. They will do so. Praedyth looking for the fight. Jake has the Shen ulti on it. That is going to be Kuden's ulti. Front-to-back team fight right now, looking very good for Sin Gaming. Juves goes back in, has to flash away immediately in this choke point. Frey starting to put in work, but Doink is doing the same. Pabu now looking to join the team fight, but Doink actually flashes back into his team. Praedyth looking to potentially take out Pabu on the back end of this. Only got stuck on a wall. Frey will fall very low, but will survive, and Blinky is popping off on this team fight. In the end, it will be a 2-4, what will be now 1, potentially. No, Pabu somehow lives, somehow stays alive, and Frey saves his top lane alive. That is a 3-0, and AV get the turrets.
Dream was so that entire fight. That must have been so painful for him. He was so close to carrying it if he could only Q more often. Frey had the blue buff, and he was extremely low, and you could see Dream trying to snipe him out. Because if he got that kill and access to the blue, he would absolutely have carried that fight, but wasn't to be. Great team fighting out of AV. Frey manages to get that big Shurima shuffle once again, and they've really turned this game around with this Baron buff.
Yeah, they certainly have. Shoving the tanks back onto the carries meant it wasn't a real front-to-back. Everyone was just kind of clumped there And then the fact that Praetor never really had access over that wolf wall, he was just kind of throwing out E's and Q's willy-nilly.
Yep.
Meant that really a scattered team fight out of Sin that they pretty much started was very interesting.
Big thing was, if you look at the bottom left, Zach does not have his ult because he tried to burn the Sejuani flash. And he lands a huge E in a second here, and he isn't able to do anything with it, and he has to flash out immediately.
Yeah,
you can just see, look, Frey flashes out, and he has to flash immediately. Dream, mana slowly running out. He's so close to carrying, but he just can't, and Frey's doing so much damage.
Yeah, exactly right. Dream, oh, if that had a hit Blinky, potentially a kill. You can see he's still fishing for it. Put some autos onto Azir.
Oh, just lives.
And the creeps, because they're Baroned up creeps.
Yep.
Like a normal queue, that kills the creep, and then you got access to the next one. Baroned up creeps, actually just carrying that team fight.
Yep, and Frey is absolutely the hero for AV today. He had a huge game 1. Game 2, steals the Baron on Azir, and then he turns that team fight as well. I don't know what they do at the AV house to celebrate good plays, but I don't know, perhaps a Brucey pasta or something.
Check it out on the next episode of AV Live. Of course, I think they're released every Wednesday or Thursday, as we see Sin right now going to push in on this mid lane turret, actually use a reversal off their tier 2 to be able to take a turret for themselves. That's good play. A little bit of free gold for absolutely nothing.
Yep. I mean, they're not out of this game yet. They're now only 2k behind, but it seems like a lot because it's been about a 6k swing.
Yep.
It's only only 2k, but because the swing was 6k, it feels like this game. And especially if you're playing the game, like you just feel so far behind. Even though in reality, you could still. Sin almost won that team fight. They could still very easily win this game, but it feels there's so much pressure on them now. They're falling behind in XP. The AV's catching up in items. They're going to have to play extremely well if they want to come away with a victory here.
Yeah, you can see Parbu's response is actually pretty good to the Banner of Command minion, given the fact that he's got himself a Titanic Hydra, will be able to take down all the creeps behind it. And he does better damage than most tanks in the game.
Be curious to see how much money he's made.
Yeah, I would be really interested to see that as well.
Yeah.
He's up by 2k.
Well, he's up about 2k, yeah, and he doesn't really have any kills, so I don't know. Do you want to put? I'll put that 2k gold down to the Klepto, and maybe that's the gold difference.
Klepto on the
is the Klepto and the Bandit from the what's it called? Targons, yeah. I mean, Ezreal has Klepto too, so but he's actually not ahead at all.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
That's absolutely massive at this stage of the game. I feel like Ezreal really never got turret gold in this game. I think a lot of it went over to Praetor.
Yeah.
As we see, Bedoink and Juves potentially looking for a pick in the side lane with Kuden. However, nothing really forthcoming. Jakey and Blink do the discipline thing. They wait for the wave to be very deep on their side of the map before they catch it. Then straight away, duck back into Fog of War.
Yep, so Baron up in 38 seconds. We can see Sin trying to get some topside control. Praetor does have TP, but I think he's basing just to walk up. He wants to start the team fight in lane because, again, Shen can cancel Sion's TP, and then Shen ult and teleport. So I think Praetor, he wants to start the fight probably there. He's opting into pushing out this wave first, but
also the fact that this is now a rank 3 Shen ulti. So even if it gets cancelled, the shield alone
it's still very
is
big.
absolutely monumental.
Yep. So we see the dance here. Other team gets mid priority, and now it's their turn to get Baron control. Sinnoh chasing them in, though. I mean, they have a pink ward behind. Sion does have TP.
Actually goes very aggressive. Here comes a TP, and Juves wants it over the wall. You can see he was fishing for something. We'll be able to slap them back. And now Frey is just isolated by himself. Will get picked up immediately by Bedoink. And you can see Juves on the back line has been blobletted, but will he fall down? No, he won't. Somehow he gets out. Now Bedoink is just pumping in the damage. This rise is absolutely massive. 2 kills for nothing. It's a 2 carries, and that should be Baron.
That was pretty big from Sin. They pull the trigger. They have a ward behind. And AV splits. They've got 2 people who run on the left-hand side of that wall and 2 people who run on the other side. And unfortunately, when you split up like that, it's very difficult to do damage because your carries are not with their tanks. And we saw the bot lane having to 2v1 a Zac, while the rest of AV were getting 3v forward.
Yeah, exactly right. You can just see Bedoink with this death cap, with all of the AP he's been able to build up, as well as the Infernal Drake. I mean, his damage in this team fight was sick.
Divide and conquer. We see AV and Frey walking up, and the other 2, they're just doing no damage. Like, this is a 4v2 here, and Juves is just soaking it all up. He has passive, so the Rise ult comes through massive here as well. Blinky gets rooted. Oh, he just lands right on top of him. Tarek stunned into root, and That's just so much CC. Bedoink is huge.
Yeah, he absolutely is. Level 17 and those quick fingers on the combos.
Yeah,
watching a good Rise play is actually also very therapeutic. He's got himself a Void Staff now.
The APM, nice to watch. He also clears waves in a very satisfying manner.
The small joys of life when you watch League of Legends all day. That was a 1,400 Q.
Okay, this is a big boy.
He's got 824 AP, and he still has room for another item. If he goes for something like a Energizer, what's a new item? Spell Flux thing.
I don't know.
It's got like 100 AP as well.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be legitimately like a 960 AP rise.
Yep.
So we'll do 30% more damage or whatever it does, 10% more damage when he runs in.
The one thing about Rise, though, is that because his spells are so short range, he actually doesn't scale as well as you think. Despite having good ratios and having a lot of damage and having a great build path, just the nature of being short-ranged means you're not going to scale well. Because if you're getting poked out by Azir, or if walking forwards means you're going to get clipped by a ally engage or a Varus ult, you're just not going to be doing as much damage as a longer-range champ will.
However, some fights, he kind of looks like Sivir. Because if you get the right bounce, all of a sudden, like we saw when you guys were playing it, Claire got a bounce onto FBI out of nowhere, and nearly 100 to 0. Like, that did sick damage. So has the potential, but you're right, it's just so hard to make it worse, as opposed to someone like Azir that just shoves your tanks onto your carries and then blows them all up at the same time.
So 1-1-3 at the moment.
Ooh! Those Qs from Dream starting to put in some work on Frey. He actually says, guys, you hold this one, I'm going to peace out. Jubes goes in, gets the Kidnap Flash on from Blinky. However, that is going to be Kuda taking up the turret. Does get the ultimate down in time. Yes, he does. Turret falls down. Jake going to take a lot of damage. That is a Shen ultimate used on him, but that means that it will not be usable for anyone else. Frey goes in, pushes them the wrong way, it looks like, gets them back out from underneath the turret. Jubes again just flying into this fight. Will finally get blobleted. Pabu goes in, will not find anything. It looks like Jubes will ultimately fall down. Only, however, will join him in the Death Chamber, and that is 2 tanks dead. Only Pabu left as a front line, and potentially now Sin going to look to close out this game.
Very risky team fight coming out of Sin there. Rise was in the top lane, and I sort of thought in the back of my mind, like, come on guys, just let the Rise push. There's no need for you to dive, but some great Q poke out of Dream means that Azir has to go back to the pool, and they pull the trigger on Bedoink's TP and all in on the bot lane. A fantastic team fight coming out of Sin, and they get access to that inhibitor.
Yeah, and I think that Sin is an example of a team that has one voice. It's never in doubt. As soon as Juve says fight,
it's on.
They fight. And I think that there was no hesitation from Bedoink getting into that fight as we take another look at it.
So he's charging it up, but Blinky's just split from the rest of the team. Clipped by the E, but manages to flash out. And this is just, Taric is just so strong in this meta. We've seen all day today that in team fights like this, you can see the Taric ult was almost, I would call it pixel perfect. Like it was the last possible second. And it turns the whole fight. He lives, and then they manage to, on the back end, turn this fight on. Juve's just with the Madman Suicide E, barely dies, and then they pick up only here and take the inhib.
Yeah, you can just see Dream at this stage of the game has also started to pump out some very serious damage. Ezreal's theoretical max DPS has always been incredibly high if you can land the skill shot.
Well, he's almost full build, and he opted into Triforce as opposed to the Augment, the Glacial Fist. I don't know.
Iceborne Gauntlet?
Iceborne Gauntlet, yeah. Anyway, the slow with the Q and the blue ring. So yeah, he's that's a pretty much max DPS Ezreal. I mean, short of buying an IE instead of QSS, he's not really going to do any more damage than he is right now.
It certainly isn't going to be, and I always say that QSS for Ezreal is just more uptime because once again, you're quite short range, so you have to have the confidence to cleanse off stuns and be able to be mobile to be tanky. And you can see Dream doing that to great success, dashing forward in these team fights. Juves, once again, has face check. This time, however, no, he won't fall down. We'll take Jake back into his team. You can see all the damage coming out. That is going to be a Scion Train ran onto Blinky, so they've separated the fight. Now Praetor underneath the turret. Can he get back into the ultimate? Yes, he can in time. That will be another one team fight right now for Sin. With Jake dead, there is no engage, and they will look to push in and break the base again.
Time and time again, we see teams engaging onto the front line and getting punished for it. Zach, I'm not sure if he has his passive back up yet, but if he does, I mean, you got to get through that. But not only that, he's tanky. He has Taric ult. He's going to have Warmok, so chunking him doesn't even count for anything. I mean, AV, they are grasping at straws. They are in a difficult position, and they do need to do something creative. But this was a mistake they were making when the game was even.
Big Shen Talk comes across. However, Pabu, you just by yourself. Frey will go in and look for Kuden. However, you can see that Dream is just pumping in the DPS. Will fall down. On the back end of it, however, Blinky has soloed out the Doink. So the Rise will fall. All 3 inhibitors, however, are not long for this world.
Yep.
In goes the engage from Jake. Headbutt Pulverize onto Juves. Will be also able to get a huge taunt out of Pabu. So this is the front-to-back team fight that potentially Avant want. Very nice ulti out of Blinky. Will separate them. Now Praetor's going to fall down, but that is all they will get. They will be able to farm waves, but Sin has done the damage.
Yep, they've managed to get all 3 inhibs here. Losing a few members, not the end of the world. I think they could have potentially still fought that with the Scion passive. I don't know, but in the end, they pick up 3 inhibs, put themselves in an extremely strong position. 48 seconds on the Baron. AV are going to find it very difficult to leave their base. Great taunt flash out of Pabu. He had all 4 members there, so props to him. Still has the mechanics to pull that off, but yeah, looking like a Sin win at this point.
Second good taunt flash we've seen in the last couple of weeks out of Shen's. Decoy has a massive one the other day in mid lane. That was very nice.
That was. I think they still lost that team fight though.
Yep, they certainly did. Bummer. Ray's absolutely a monster on Xayah. I feel like he shouldn't get that champion all that much anymore, as Baron is coming up in 15 seconds. You would feel that this one is Sin Gaming's unless something goes very awry.
Well, I mean, we have seen Azir steal 1 Baron. Juves is the same level as Sejuani, so their smites do exactly the same amount of damage. We've seen that Sin don't really care.
They're going to roll the dice on it. In goes Jake, sprinting towards Kuden, wants him. Does the ultimate come across? No. Jake is just isolated now. Teleport coming in, zoning the rest of the team away. That is a cancel. Juves goes onto Blinky. Front-to-back team fight is here. Very nice ulti, and Dream is already able to pick up prey. Pabu not all that tanky against this many members, and absolutely they destroy Blinky. Now, with Praetor not even there, he's just Tokyo drifting down mid lane. They will win the 4v5 team fight, and Praetor says, don't worry, boys, this one on me. I will end you the game with the Super Creeps. What an absolute hero. What an absolute madman. 3 waves of Super Creeps. That means 2 in each wave. Just going to be able to take down this Nexus turret, and somehow, some way, Sin send us to all 6 games today.
Lumberjack Scion just chopping down those turrets. So satisfying to watch. I mean, I'm not gonna talk about engaging on the Taric again. That Sejuani ult tries to throw it at Juves before he can get the kidnap off on Blinky, but unfortunately, Juves just gets the ult off, cannot be disabled. Blinky has to flash out of the fight, does no damage, and huge game 2 from Sin. Very back and forth, but they come out with a W.
And this is when Sin are scary. When you've given them a couple of sloppy games back-to-back, and they're like, actually, we can ride with these guys. Like, they want to get down and dirty. Sin is not a team afraid to get in the mud.
Yep.
And you can see Juves, he was smiling after that one. He was nodding his head and giving a couple of sage words of wisdom.
Absolutely. I mean, I do want to point out the draft in this game. I think that Vicarious absolutely had the read on what Charlie Wraith was trying to put together. He had a fantastic comp for countering that bot dive, and they didn't even manage to attempt it. I mean, Shen ult, I don't know what time the first Shen ult came out, but I don't remember it coming out until maybe 15, 20 minutes, and that was on the mid lane, not on the bot lane. So I think it was a fantastic draft out of Vicarious. I think well played by Sin. Despite a few hurdles in the mid game, they managed to put it all together and get themselves a victory.
And that's such a, like, thinking about the fact that if you do not stick the perfect engage on an Ezreal or a Taric, that, you know, 3 seconds later, they're going to just turn the team fight. That's a lot of pressure on the engage tools. And a couple of times they were close. Blinky got Dream in the bottom lane to like
almost
50 health.
Had to burn both Suns and E-Flash.
Yeah, but in the end, I mean, they were just able to skirt that edge of getting Kuden's ultimate down in time. And the team fights looked, when they got to the latter stages, very clean.
I mean, there's something to be said for making the game easy for yourself. Like, you look at comps like these, and generally it would be like, this is a pretty easy comp to pull off, like it's very obvious what we need to do. But then when you look at the opposition comp, and it's like, okay, we have a... What's the channel? What's the duration? It's like 3 seconds, maybe?
Yeah, I think it's 3 seconds.
And it's like we have a 3-second window to kill either the most mobile AD carry, probably, in the game, or this extremely tanky support. It's just, not only is it difficult, like, in a mechanic sense, like in a game sense, but having the confidence to go for it anyway can be very difficult for some players.
And it certainly looked to be the case. So Sin, send us into game number 6 of the night. And to break that one down a little bit further, let's throw it over to Laura as well as Sharp.
Thank you very much, guys. We have a series on our hands with Sin picking up game number 2 of this series. Sharp, I want to start by talking about the draft because it seems like Avant kind of dug themselves their own grave with the Shen pick. Vicarious said in the interview he didn't really see it as a big danger. He doesn't think it's necessarily the best pick in the top at the moment, but AV weren't able to really execute their game plan with Shen on board.
Yeah, so I think that Shen as a pick hasn't been seen too much. I have heard whispers around that Shen could potentially be coming back as a pick. Apparently it has a decent matchup into Sion, but I'm not really seeing it right at the moment. I feel like the lack of wave clear, Sion can just continually shove, and then Shen just gets. I mean, he's not going to die, but he's not really going to generate any pressure. So Shen as a pick has historically been I call it like 100 or 0 champion. Like, it either is extremely impactful with ults, like when there's players going on around the map, continually ulting in, can be extremely frustrating. But on the other hand, if the game is stale, which Sin were able to make it stale in the bot half of the map, it can be extremely, I guess, underwhelming. You know, it doesn't team fight well. It can't force things too well. It's more of one of those things that you need to have the whole team on the same page, and Avant weren't able to maximize its capabilities.
I think we have to congratulate Sin on being able to neutralize the Shen pick, but on top of that, Sin were very aware of how their team composition worked, and they knew how to execute it properly.
Yeah, so I think that's one thing I have to compliment Jews especially. I think the decisiveness with his engages in this game was really, really impressive. They recognized that they had the superior team comp, and I think again and again, regardless of when after that poor Baron fight that they had and lost Baron, they were down about 2k gold, and they still managed to recognize Jews and the team Sin. I don't know who else would have shot called that, but they managed to recognize they had the superior team fight. Shen was split pushing and being a nuisance in the side lane, but being extremely decisive on those engages with Zach, and then managing to take out the win because of that.
We were talking earlier about how maybe Sin would use this as an opportunity to work on their craft and their skills. Dream and Bedoink had really great performances in this game. Do you think that maybe the pressure of not being in Gauntlet has helped them?
Yeah, so I mean, I think there's actually, like we said, I think maybe Sin are potentially after game 1, you know, all the nerves are off. Like seriously, not barely any weight on them whatsoever. And I think that they'll manage to come out with a great performance. And whether or not, you know, maybe they wanted to prove people wrong that they aren't that team, that not just a pushover, or whether it's that, okay, let's just give it our best shot. We've only got 2 more weeks of OPL. Let's just give it our best. Not sure what it is, but they really seem to turn it on. And like, given game 1, which wasn't the best game out of Sin, turn it around. So I think that Dream put out a great performance, and that is really like impressive for me, because I've known, especially Direwolves last year, we really struggled to verse Shen. And dealing with that Shen ult pressure, that consistent pressure with ult being on the map, and then having to respect that and not being able to die to those dives. And they managed to neutralize that Shen ult really well. So really impressive stuff out of Dream, and really impressive stuff out of Juves and Praetor to be able to neutralize that.
We know that Juves is quite the character, and often he ramps the team up to get them going back in high spirits. Do you have someone on your team that's like that, or how do you, the Direwolves, like reset mentally and get the team happy again after a loss?
Yeah, that's a tough question. I think that we're when it's really intense, like we were at Worlds and that type of stuff, we can be very hyped up. Very emotional, but I think this year it's kind of been something we've been working on, is trying not to get too emotional, because when you go from that emotional high from a win and then you go to that emotional low from a loss, that change is just extremely dangerous, because you're not sure whether or not you're going to be able to get it back up. So when you go from a high, that change is that's the scary thing, the change. So we're trying to keep it in the middle. We're trying to keep it, okay, it's okay to get a bit excited, but as long as you're not, you're staying coherent, you're okay, you're in the moment, and then being able to bring it back down to immediate, like an okay level, and then be able to replicate that for game 3. So hopefully Sin aren't too ecstatic at the moment. And hopefully, conversely, hopefully Avant aren't too disappointed in their gameplay, especially since they've got Legacy coming up in the Gauntlet. I'm sure they're very disappointed in their gameplay at the moment. So let's see whether or not both Sin can manage to lower down their energy levels and potentially Avant raise those back up.
Well, I'm sure there are a lot of Sin fans watching at home. Can Sin win game number 3? Can they pull an upset? Because if they pull a win in game number 3, that's actually a pretty big blow for Avant.
Yeah, I think in terms of like the mentality for Avant, I think that's the more scary thing. It doesn't really change their gauntlet. They're locked in for gauntlet. So, but yeah, the mentality, they're meant to be coming in, finishing strong towards the end of the split. And if they drop a series to Sin, that's something very concerning and something that I would like to see on Avant Life, actually. But yeah, I think that Sin definitely have the capabilities to take out this series. So I think we definitely got a series on our hands.
We're going to head to a short break, but when we get back, we're going to see if Sin are able to snowball a victory in this series against Avant. Don't go anywhere.
This one, Frey will burn the ultimate, will burn the heal, will slide out, and they actually get the completed stun. That might actually be Benoit falling down. Juice flashes forward onto Frey. Will be able to take the kill in response, however. Now, well, actually, the fight continues. Juice goes back in, and they get another kill. Kunin is here, flashes forward onto Blinky. He is playing the series of his life right now. Juice get ultied up. They do burn the Taric ultimate. Root is there, and actually Azir stole it somehow. And now Frey is just isolated by himself. Will get picked up immediately by Benoit. And you can see Juve on the backline has been blobleted, but will he fall down? No, he won't. Somehow he gets out. Now Benoit is just pumping in the damage. This rise is absolutely massive. Turret falls down. Jake going to take a lot of damage. That is a Shen ultimate used on him, but that means that it will not be usable for anyone else. Frey goes in, pushes them the wrong way, it looks like, gets them back out from underneath the turret. Juves again just flying into this fight. Will finally get blobleted. Pabu goes in, will not find anything. It looks like Juves will ultimately fall down, and somehow, someway, Sin send us to all 6 games today.
We are, all of us, born into a lie. That there are those who are good and those who are evil. But these words mean nothing. In truth, the only measure of a soul is the strength of their will.
Welcome to the Swain Champion Spotlight. Swain's passive, Ravenous Flock, has 2 components. First, enemy champions leave behind soul fragments when they die. Shadowy Ravens scavenge nearby soul fragments, healing Swain. He can also store a bunch of soul fragments, and we'll go over what that means a little bit later. Now let's talk about Ravenous Flock's second effect. Right-clicking any nearby immobilized enemy champion damages them, drags them towards Swain, and rips out a soul fragment. The drag has a moderate cooldown, so you'll have to choose the best victim when following up on area of effect lockdowns. Swain's Q, Death's Hand, unleashes several bolts of Eldritch power in front of him, each damaging the first target struck. Multiple hits on the same target deal reduced damage beyond the first. Bolts pierce through targets they kill, restoring a portion of Swain's mana and hitting the next unit in their path. Take advantage of this in lane to shock your opponent through their low health minions, or refresh your mana pool wave clearing. Swain's W, Vision of Empire, opens a demonic eye at a target location, damaging and slowing all enemies in the area after a moderate delay. Champions hit by Vision of Empire take extra damage, grant Swain a soul fragment, and are temporarily revealed. Vision of Empire's range is freaking massive. It gives tons of versatility as a zoning, reconnaissance, and follow-up tool. It's up to you as a master tactician to figure out the best way to use it. It's typically not wave clear. Swain's E, Nevermove, projects his demonic hand forward, then calls it back, damaging everything it touches. Nevermove passes through enemies on the way out, but explodes if it hits something as it's returning. Targets caught in the explosion are rooted in addition to damage. Nevermove explodes if it hits any enemy on the way back, not just enemy champions. Keep an eye on what's behind your target, or you could end up rooting a minion or monster by mistake. Feels bad, Bird Dad. Watch for opportunities to follow up on Nevermove with your other abilities. Pull your opponent in with Ravenous Flock's right click, then drop a 5-finger Death's Hand for tons of damage. Once you've got a grasp on Swain's kit, eyeball an opportunity to add Vision of Empire into the mix. Swain's ultimate, Demonic Ascension, invokes his full power, granting a big chunk of health on cast and draining life from the nearest enemies for an extended duration, prioritizing champions. When Demonic Ascension ends, either by running down the duration or by reactivating after draining enough health, Swain casts Demon Flare, the payoff for collecting all those soul fragments. Swain crushes every fragment in his possession to unleash a nova of demonic energy, damaging the closest enemies around him. The nova's damage increases for each fragment consumed. Demon Flare is Swain's make or break moment in teamfights. Flash bombing the opposing backline is a play for the highlight reels when Swain does quick maths. But if you don't know 2 + 2 is 4, miscalculations will leave him stranded in the middle of a very angry enemy team with no access to his survival tools. Let's sum it up with a late-game teamfight to strike fear into the foes of Noxus. Swain catches Ezreal and Braum with a well-aimed Never move, then pulls Ez in with a Ravenous Flock. Ezreal tries to flash to safety but is winged by the far edge of Demon Flare. A few more pecks murder Braum, bringing the teamfight to a tidy conclusion. Thanks for watching the Swain Champion Spotlight. Click these links for more intel on the Noxian Grand General.
Hello and welcome back to Week 8, day number 1 of the OPA